Hello and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John, and today I've got another movie review for you. And I was just thinking about this. I wonder how many of you, when you see that I've got a new movie review coming up or a new video for a movie review coming up, I wonder how many of you sit and think, wait a minute, doesn't this guy talk about horror books? Well, yes, I do, but I also have decided that I would like to do movie reviews. And right now I'm actually in between books. I've got a book I'm reading right now, and that's Cruel Summer by Wesley Southard. So far, I am absolutely loving it, even though it is pissing me the hell off. And it's not the writing or anything like that. It's the characters in the book that are pissing me off, particularly one and specifically one. All right. Anyway, the movie review thing, I do this kind of in between my book reviews or whatever videos. And it's just something I like doing. So this is kind of my little thing. Anyway, so the movie we are going to be talking about today is The Autopsy of Jane Doe. I believe this came out in 2016, if I remember correctly. And I've got it on Blu-ray. Somebody actually wrote and asked me, was I going to do any reviews of movies that I've got here behind me on my movie shelf, because I've got a ton of horror movies. And I said, well, yeah, I'm probably going to do that. So anyway, The Autopsy of Jane Doe, the one thing you need to know about this movie is that 98% of this movie takes place in one setting, pretty much in one room. You know, spreads out a little bit, but it's all in pretty much the same location for 98% of the movie. All right, so what is this movie about? So anyway, it begins, and you've got this house, and you've got these crime scene investigation guys, you got the sheriff, and they're going through this house and they're finding dead bodies. Looks like the family there has been just murdered, slaughtered, whatever, you know. And they go down and they say, hey, they tell the sheriff. And the sheriff, I can't remember his real name, but he's the guy that played Roose Bolton. I believe he played Ramsay Bolton's dad on Game of Thrones. Anyway, his name is just escaping me. I'll try to put that down in the description when I find out. But anyway, they say, hey, look, you need to come down here. You need to take a look at this. And he goes down there, and partially buried is what is a dead girl. A dead girl looks to be approximately maybe in her mid-20s, maybe early 30s. But I mean, she's just partially buried there. All right, so now we cut to the Tilden Funeral Home. Now, this is a funeral home run by a father, played by Brian Cox. And if you didn't know this, Brian Cox was actually the very first Hannibal Lecter as far as the movies is concerned. And by Emile Hirsch, who of course played in Into the Wild, The Girl Next Door. I'm trying to think of what the other movies he's been in, but really good actor, all right? So they play this father and son team that works at this funeral home. So the sheriff brings in this body, unidentified body, therefore she is a Jane Doe. That is what a Jane Doe is, or a John Doe is a body that you cannot find an identification for, all right? So he's like, I want an autopsy done. So they do the autopsy, and the more they do this autopsy, the more things start to get weird, the more they find out about this girl. I don't want to give away too many spoilers. I'll say one of the things is that they find out that her wrist and her ankles have been fractured. All right. She's got ligature marks. Fine. Okay. She's been tied up. So first thing they're thinking is, well, she's a victim of human trafficking. So that's one of the things they think about. But the more this movie advances and the more they find out about this Jane Doe, the more it gets weird, and the more you realize that these two guys, these two living, breathing gentlemen, are not as in control of things as they would want you to think they are, all right? Jane's got some secrets. And I mean, I don't want to go too far into it. I know a lot of you have seen the movie. I'm sure you have. If you're a horror movie fan, if you have not seen the Autopsy of Jane Doe, then by all means, watch it, okay? If you're not, I'm trying not to spoil things too badly for you, and don't let anybody else spoil it for you either. You know, I mean, I understand when somebody spoils a movie, they don't mean to do it. That's fine. People do that all the time. But when you just decide you're going to spoil stuff because you just decide you want to do it, there's a word for you, and it's called a dick, okay? So don't be a dick and don't spoil things, all right? Anyway, all right, so that's pretty much the premise of the movie. Is these guys, the more and more they figure out about this Jane Doe, the more they realize they are not in control. In fact, it actually may be Jane herself who is in control. And that's pretty much the plot of this movie. And I'll tell you flat out, I loved this movie. I give it 4 stars out of 4. It is an absolute, to me, it's a masterpiece of filmmaking. It's directed by André Øvredal. Now, he also directed the movie Troll Hunter. Now, this is his first English language film, all right? And then, of course, he went on to direct the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark movie adaptation, okay? But to me, between those 3 films, I've not seen Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, but I'm telling you right now, I'm going to say, going on a limb and say, between those 3 films, I think this is going to be the one that André Øvredal is going to be most remembered for. I mean, to put a setting of just pretty much one space, and there's just this air of tension, this air of unease, this air of, I don't know. I mean, I was just sitting on the edge of my seat, and there's a fly in here. Sorry about that. If nobody, I don't mean to be cruel. I just don't want it around me, okay? So if you don't like the fact that I swatted the fly, I'm sorry, but yeah, I don't like flies. I don't like bugs that much. Which is funny. I like tarantulas, and I used to have a couple of them, but flies, no. Flies are nasty, all right? Anyway, so I'm getting on a tangent. Anyway, yeah, this movie is just, everything about this movie is, this is pretty much I would say a near perfect horror movie. And the reason I'm saying a near perfect is because I don't know. Does the perfect horror movie exist? Maybe it does. It probably does. I mean, Exorcist, yeah, pretty much perfect. You know what? Yeah, I'd say this is one of those along the lines of The Exorcist. This is a perfect horror movie. I mean, the writing is just top level. The direction, acting, the story, everything about this film is just absolutely awesome. I love this freaking movie. And one thing about it that I really realized, that there is no way, if they had gone one route with this, then this movie would not have worked. I just do not think so. And that is that if they had used, and I'm not spoiling things really, is that if they had used a dummy or a prosthetic or, you know, a mold or whatever of Jane Doe, instead of using a actual living, breathing actress. Her name is, that body laying on the slab or laying on that autopsy table is a living, breathing body. I mean, aside from a few prosthetics whenever they're opening her up and stuff, yes, that is a young lady by the name of Olwen Kelly. And then a little bit of trivia about that. They picked her because she has a knowledge of yoga, and she's got an ability to be able to hold her breath for long periods of time. And it's like I told somebody that if you're watching her and you see just a little twitch of a breath, or you maybe see a little twitch of an eye or something like that, I don't know. I don't think that is a faux pas on the part of the filmmakers. In fact, I think it is something that may have been done to deliberately draw the audience in even further, you know. And most of the time her face is completely, absolutely motionless, but you still just get this hint that things aren't exactly what they appear to be. And that is just what adds even worse to the tension of this. Like I said, I sat on the edge of my seat watching this movie. I've watched this movie, I think 4 times now, and I still sit on the edge of my seat when I watch it. I love this movie, okay? Anyway, I have ranted, raved, whatever you want to call it, gushed, blushed, whatever about this movie. Autopsy of Jane Doe, 4 stars. That's my highest rating, and it absolutely deserves it, okay? If you've not seen this movie, by all means, it's got to be on one of the streaming services. I watched it on Blu-ray. What's even nicer is I watched it on Blu-ray on a 70-inch 4K Ultra HD screen, which makes me now want to watch this movie on a 4K cut of this movie, or UHD cut of this movie on that TV itself, because if it looked as beautiful as it did, as beautiful it looked on with the Blu-ray 4K, it's going to look even more beautiful, I think, okay? Anyway, Autopsy of Jane Doe. Sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent here. Autopsy of Jane Doe, 4 stars. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to post this on Monday. And you guys take care. It is the weekend. Enjoy yourselves, but please be careful out there. Bye-bye.